Romance with ancient beginnings unfolds as we journey through the story of early Rome, from its primordial roots among the Latins to the final fall of its monarchy. In this exploration, we delve into a world where small rural communities gradually merged into fortified towns, giving life to a culture rich in agriculture, art, and brave traditions. We trace how the disparate cantons of Latium found unity in shared festivals and ancient rituals, setting the stage for the emergence of a city that would shape world history. This video guides you through the early chapters of Rome's evolution, highlighting its geographic advantages, cultural intersections, and the blend of myth and reality that marked its formative years. Prepare to uncover the relics of traditions and power as we illuminate the journey from humble beginnings to a legacy that still captivates us today. Let this adventure spark curiosity and honor Rome's origin. Deep in the heart of ancient Italy lay Latium, a fertile region encircled by the meandering paths of the Tiber River and rugged slopes of the Apennines. Here, the Latins, a vibrant people with deep agricultural roots, established themselves on modest parcels of land called pagae. These rural cantons were the backbone of their society, where families tilled the earth and passed down traditions from one generation to the next. In these communities, the idea of a united cultural identity began to form. Even as each pagus retained its individuality, shared customs in farming, celebration, and religious rites gradually stitched the fabric of a common Latin heritage. As time went on, scattered homesteads started to cluster together, giving rise to oppida, small fortified towns perched on hilltops. Originally shielded by earthen ramparts and later stone walls, these towns served not only as refuge during periods of conflict, but also as bustling centers where artisans honed their crafts and merchants engaged in lively trade. With markets emerging in these citadels, traditions evolved and a distinct social order took shape. Wealthier landowners, who eventually became the early aristocrats, moved into these oppida to oversee both the land and the emerging commerce. Beyond individual towns, the Latins found unity through shared cultural practices and religious festivals, most notably the celebration of Jupiter Latiaris on Alban Mount. This grand annual festivity was more than a ritual. It was an expression of the Latins' deep connection to their land and gods. At festivals such as these, rivalries softened and the warmth of communal identity shone through, reinforcing bonds among disparate communities. Moreover, the collective celebration became the cornerstone of a loose league, originally said to comprise up to 30 Latin cities, though later only a core group actively participated. Within this league, the governance was informal yet significant. A Latin dictator was appointed to lead the assembly, symbolizing their shared authority and resolve. Despite the absence of centralized political machinery, the Latins demonstrated remarkable unity in both times of hardship and celebration. Their evolving society tells a creative tale of organic growth, from humble farming communities gradually transforming into interconnected urban centers that would influence the world for centuries to come. Emphasizing creativity, the Latins were pioneers in blending practical necessity with imaginative innovation. Their customs, festivals, and small administrative measures laid subtle but lasting cultural markers that resonated well beyond their own communities. Although they lacked grand palaces and centralized governments, their diligent work in agriculture, coupled with a passion for art and craftsmanship, set them apart as ingenious stewards of their environment. The persistent spirit of cooperation and resilience among the Latins offers a timeless lesson. Even the most modest origins can give birth to extraordinary legacies. This enduring influence seeped into every facet of life in Latium, sowing seeds for what would eventually become the mighty foundation of Rome. Thus, the Latins not only cultivated their lands, but also nurtured a vibrant cultural spirit, setting the stage for a transformative journey that would echo through history. In every practice and celebration, the spirit of unity and ingenuity of the Latins shone brilliantly, inspiring future legacies. Rome's origin is a fascinating tapestry woven from threads of geography, myth, and cultural amalgamation. Situated on the banks of the Tiber River, roughly 15 miles from the Mediterranean Sea, Rome benefited from natural trade routes and strategic positioning. Its location at the confluence of land and water made it a vibrant crossroads for cultures, giving early Romans a unique advantage in commerce and defense. The city's initial growth was neither rapid nor sudden. Rather, it evolved slowly as small settlements on surrounding hills coalesced into a singular, more structured community. Early archaeological excavations reveal that Rome began as a collection of distinct Iron Age settlements perched upon the Palatine, Esquiline, and other hills. These rudimentary villages, separated by low, marshy land prone to flooding, gradually merged through increased interaction and shared survival needs. The emergence of the Septimontium festival, dedicated to celebrating the Seven Hills, underscores the collaborative nature of these early communities, hinting at a religious union that helped knit them together. Over time, these hillside dwellings gave way to a city organized into what became known as the Four Regions. This configuration integrated the principal hills and the adjoining lowlands into a cohesive urban entity, marking a departure from the isolated oppida of earlier periods. The evolving city was not solely a product of need, but also of design. Some scholars suggest that the organization of early Rome reflected Etruscan influences, a people renowned for their expertise in art, architecture, and ritual practice. In fact, the very name Rome might have Etruscan origins, and some of the religious customs, such as the construction of the Pomerium, a sacred boundary encircling the city, bear symbolic resemblance to Etruscan traditions. The deliberate demarcation of sacred space and the integration of a central citadel, later known as the Capitoline Hill, illustrate how spiritual life intermingled with civic organization in Rome's formative years. Rome's transformation from a cluster of rural settlements into an emerging city was a gradual process marked by both organic growth and deliberate planning. The raw beauty of its natural environment, coupled with the pragmatic decisions of its early inhabitants, allowed Rome to develop as a hub of cultural and commercial exchange. Trade flourished along the Tiber, while the promise of security attracted more settlers to its shores, each bringing their own customs and aspirations. The layering of these influences created a dynamic urban mosaic that was both accessible and innovative. In every street and shared festival, one can trace echoes of Rome's origins, a blend of indigenous Latin spirit and external influences that shaped its destiny. The measured expansion of the city, unhurried yet deliberate, demonstrates that even modest communities can ignite a legacy that inspires admiration across generations. Every stone laid and every ceremony observed contributed to a future where Rome would emerge as a center of power and culture. Thus, the story of Rome's origins is not merely a tale of geographical fortune, but a celebration of human ingenuity, community, and the creative fusion of diverse influences. Its early evolution offers timeless insights into the power of collaboration and planning, setting a foundation that resonates with the spirit of innovation. Unite these elements, and Rome's birth becomes a brilliant example of transformative evolution, a legacy that endures forever beyond measure. Ancient Rome's regal period is shrouded in a blend of myth and scant historical records. The traditional narrative, enriched by Greek storytellers, paints a picture of a city ruled by a series of kings whose legacies were recorded in fragmented legends. Though these accounts, including the famous tale of the Seven Kings, deliver a compelling storyline, modern historians approach them with caution due to the limited contemporary evidence. Still, the presence of a kingship is undeniable, echoed in the ongoing title of Rex Sacrorum, a sacred office that preserved the memory of Rome's earliest rulers. The nature of the monarchy was complex, and intriguingly, not strictly hereditary. Instead, the kings were often chosen from among noble families, reflecting an elective system where leadership was bestowed based on both lineage and merit. This process showcased a subtle balance between aristocratic influence and popular approval, a dynamic that set the stage for future political developments. Each king served as both a military leader and a priestly figure, blending secular authority with divine sanction. Their reigns, though not abundantly documented, were critical in shaping the governance and religious traditions of the nascent state. Political institutions evolved alongside the monarchy. The Senate, originally an advisory council of elders, played an essential role in tempering royal authority and providing counsel. In addition, the Comitia Curiata, an assembly organized around the 30 Curia, offered a formal forum for the community to witness key decisions, such as declarations of war or the confirmation of a new ruler. These early institutions reflected a society in gradual transition from simple familial leadership to more structured civic participation. The inclusiveness of even the most modest citizens in such assemblies highlights an early form of communal decision-making that would later define Roman governance. Expansion under the kings further testifies to their effective, if rudimentary, administration. Rome steadily absorbed nearby Latin communities, extending its territory to secure vital trade routes and strategic points along the Tiber River. The establishment of Ostia as a seaport and the conquest of Alba Longa, once the religious heart of the Latins, are key milestones that reflect the ambition of Rome's early rulers. While Etruscan influences played a significant role in administrative practices and religious rites, the core identity of the Roman state remained fundamentally Latin. Cultural synthesis occurred naturally as Roman institutions absorbed and adapted elements from surrounding peoples. As the regal period neared its end, a shift in power became apparent. The kings gradually saw their political influence wane, their roles increasingly confined to ceremonial and priestly duties. This transition was not abrupt. Rather, it accompanied the rise of the Latin nobility, who began to assert greater control over the state. The final blow to the monarchy arrived around 508 BC, when the last of the Etruscan kings was overthrown, paving the way for revolutionary political reforms. The enduring legacy of the regal period, however, persisted in Rome's customs, institutions, and the ever-present memory of its foundational kings. In every legend and administrative reform from this era, one finds hints of creativity and adaptation, qualities that would come to define Roman political life in later centuries. The early monarchy, with its blend of religious reverence and evolving governance, remains a striking example of how power and tradition can evolve hand in hand, leaving an indelible mark on the course of history. Each aspect of the regal period, from myth-laden narratives to the establishment of early civic institutions, illustrates a dynamic interplay between authority and tradition. In recalling this era, we recognize the creative spirit that helped frame the foundation of one of history's most influential civilizations. The monarchy's legacy endures timelessly. Early Roman society was a vibrant tapestry of citizens, traditions, and emerging institutions that would come to define one of history's greatest civilizations. The people of Rome, known in earliest times as Quirites, gradually adopted the name Romani as the city grew and evolved. Every individual, from the hardworking citizen to the humble family unit, contributed to what was known as the Populus Romanus, a body united by a deep sense of civic duty and participation in shared cultural and religious practices. At the heart of this society was a clear division between two social classes, the patricians and the plebeians. The patricians, as the aristocratic elite, traced their lineage to venerable gentes and possessed vast estates that afforded them both wealth and military prowess. Their status was further solidified by exclusive rights to participate in the Senate, the governing council that served as the backbone of political authority. With skills honed through both agriculture and warfare, the patricians were not only landowners, but also the custodians of ancient religious rites and traditions. In contrast, the plebeians formed the backbone of Rome's everyday life. Comprising free citizens, tradespeople, craftsmen, and laborers, this group was integral to the functioning of the city. Although they initially lacked the privilege of sitting in the Senate, the plebeians participated in the comitia curiata, where they exercised their voting rights and contributed to communal decision-making. Over time, as Rome expanded and democratic reforms unfolded, the plebeians succeeded in earning greater rights and influence, which eventually altered the balance of power within society. A defining feature of early Roman society was the patron-client relationship, an intricate system that bound the powerful and the less affluent together. Each patrician acted as a patron for a group of clients, citizens who relied on influential families for support in work, military service, and social advancement. In return, these clients offered loyalty, assistance, and political backing. This mutually beneficial arrangement not only reinforced traditional power structures, but also cultivated a sense of community and interdependence among Rome's citizens. Beyond defined class structures, early Roman society thrived on shared cultural practices and traditions that brought people together. Religious festivals, public ceremonies, and communal gatherings were celebrated with enthusiasm, reinforcing a collective identity and pride in a common heritage. These events not only served as rituals of devotion, but also as opportunities to foster bonds that helped integrate the various layers of Roman life. The creative spirit of early Rome shone through in its ability to harmonize diverse influences into a unified social framework. Whether through the maintenance of long-standing family clans, the evolution of civic institutions, or the widespread celebration of ancient rituals, early Romans demonstrated an adaptability that enriched daily life and laid the foundation for future societal structures. Ultimately, the legacy of early Roman society is a profound reminder that a civilization's strength lies not merely in the power of its leaders, but also in the collective contributions of its people. This tapestry of resilience, ambition, and shared purpose continues to inspire society even today. Bridging the gap between social classes, early Romans celebrated not only their triumphs, but also their shared struggles, fostering a culture of resilience. Neighbors exchanged ideas and skills, ensuring that every community member played a part in building the state. Public debates, artistic expressions, and collective festivities were integral to nurturing a civic identity that transcended individual differences. This vibrant blend of culture, honor, and mutual respect laid the cornerstone for a society that would later achieve remarkable heights and leave an indelible mark on history. Their communal strength and spirited unity echo